Trump's Iran deal push exploded politically as his own Republican hardliners accused him of surrendering leverage to Tehran. Fearing midterm fallout, Trump faced fury from loyal allies who blasted his sudden diplomatic shift toward Iran publicly. Critics warned Trump's art of the deal image collapsed after reports suggested Tehran could still retain uranium capabilities. GOP hawks revolted after Trump reportedly softened on Iran, calling the proposed framework a disastrous strategic retreat for Washington. Under mounting backlash from Republicans, Trump appeared to pivot back toward renewed military strikes against Iranian targets and infrastructure. Donald Trump is reportedly facing intense backlash from senior Republicans over his evolving diplomatic approach toward Iran recently. Financial Times reported growing criticism against Trump's efforts to negotiate what opponents describe as a softer Iran agreement framework. Republican critics accused Trump of offering Tehran dangerous concessions while simultaneously extending fragile ceasefire arrangements across the region politically. Reports suggest Iran could receive sanctions relief and access frozen overseas assets in exchange for renewed nuclear negotiations soon. The proposed framework reportedly allows Iran to dilute or relocate enriched uranium instead of surrendering it directly to Washington authorities. Critics inside Trump's own party warned the agreement could ultimately strengthen Iran militarily and strategically across the Middle East region. Senator Lindsey Graham warned a softer Iran deal could fuel instability throughout Lebanon, Iraq, and the wider Gulf region. Lindsey Graham said, and I quote, "If it is perceived in the region that a deal with Iran allows the regime to survive and become more powerful over time, we will have poured gasoline on the conflicts in Lebanon and Iraq. I personally am a skeptic of the idea that Iran cannot be denied the ability to terrorize the Strait and the region cannot protect itself against Iranian military capability," unquote. Ted Cruz called the proposed Iran agreement a disastrous mistake, warning Tehran could still retain uranium enrichment capabilities afterward. Ted Cruz said, and I quote, "If the result of all that is to be an Iranian regime, still run by Islamists who chant death to America now receiving billions of dollars, being able to enrich uranium and develop nuclear weapons and having effective control over the Strait of Hormuz, then that outcome would be a disastrous mistake," unquote. Mounting criticism from Republican allies reportedly increased pressure on Trump to restore a tougher military posture against Iran immediately. Growing Republican backlash may have influenced Washington's decision to resume strikes despite ongoing ceasefire and diplomatic negotiations with Tehran. Even as peace talks continued, American forces launched fresh self-defense strikes inside southern Iran on May 25. A CENTCOM spokesperson confirmed the military operation, with Fox News reporting details surrounding the latest American action. Captain Tim Hawkins said, and I quote, "U.S. forces conducted self-defense strikes in southern Iran today to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. Targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to emplace mines. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire," unquote. The strikes reportedly targeted Bandar Abbas, Iran's critical naval hub and a major strategic military installation nationwide. The escalation followed Trump's earlier declaration announcing major combat operations against Iran beginning from February 28 this year. Washington claimed the operation specifically targeted threats posed against American troops, military assets, and regional strategic interests abroad. CENTCOM insisted the strikes were defensive measures designed to deter further attacks and protect American regional military operations. The renewed confrontation unfolded while Trump simultaneously pushed diplomatic efforts aimed at securing a broader nuclear agreement with Tehran.
We took that over in one day, and we lost no one. In Operation Epic Fury, we lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people. These incredible men and women gave their lives to ensure that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror will never have a nuclear weapon. Oh, and they won't. They will never have a nuclear weapon. I'm sure you know that.
This came as Washington maintained a blockade on Iran until negotiations conclude one way or the other, according to Trump. Trump also signaled a softer tone regarding Iran's enriched uranium stockpile through a recent Truth Social post online. The U.S. president said he prefers Iran's uranium be destroyed locally or under strict international supervision elsewhere internationally. Reports suggest Iran is seeking guarantees from China and may consider relocating enriched uranium stockpiles there for security. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "The enriched uranium will either be immediately turned over to the United States to be brought home and destroyed or preferably, in conjunction and coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran, destroyed in place or at another acceptable location, with the Atomic Energy Commission, or its equivalent, being witness to this process and event." Unquote. Trump is reportedly facing mounting midterm pressure and backlash from loyalists over pursuing a softer diplomatic approach toward Iran recently. Trump's Iran diplomacy triggered rare and increasingly public divisions within the Republican Party over national security and foreign policy strategies. Senior Republican figures openly challenged Trump's approach, accusing the administration of appeasing Tehran despite previous hardline promises publicly. Senator Tom Tillis questioned why Washington would suddenly tolerate Iranian nuclear material after earlier claims of military success recently. Political tensions intensified as polls reportedly showed declining public confidence in Trump's handling of both war and economic challenges. The White House defended Trump aggressively, insisting no American president had taken a tougher stance against Iran's nuclear ambitions historically. Marco Rubio rejected criticism entirely, arguing Trump would never support any nuclear agreement benefiting Tehran strategically or militarily afterward.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.